Alright guys, we're starting a new unit called Conditional Statements. Now, this is going to be a little bit different than probably any of the math you've done so far, and probably any math you'll do in the future. This is going to feel maybe a little bit more like English than it feels like math, because we're going to deal with a lot of different sentences. Now, where this fits in math is this is a form of logic and reasoning. So logic and reasoning is very closely related to math. And so if you are doing this work and you're like, well, this doesn't feel very much like math, it's actually a little more like math than you might realize. But we're going to do this for about 2 weeks, so it's going to be something a little bit different. If you like it, great. If you don't, we're not going to see it again after really 2 weeks outside of our review. So I think this is an easy unit. I think this will be an easy thing to end the quarter on. So make sure you're catching up all your late work if you have any, and then working on this week's work. So let's just jump into conditional statements. What is a conditional statement? A conditional statement is one that's written in the form of if, then. And let me show you here. If you stay up late, then you will be tired at school. Okay, so if you're coming back to school here, coming up soon, if you stay up too late, you're going to be tired the next day at school. It's an if-then statement. Here's another one. A common one is, if you don't clean up, then your room will be messy. Okay, again, if-then statements. Now, they don't always show up in the forms of if-then. You can have, all Saturdays. If it's a Saturday, then there's no school. Or a certain way to say it would be every Saturday there is no school, or something like that. So you can actually take sentences in real life, not every sentence, but some sentences that are making statements, and actually turn them into if-thens. We're not going to worry too much about them. For now, we're just going to focus on the if part and the then part. So we need to talk about the two terms, the hypothesis and the conclusion. In fact, let's take one of these statements and take a look at it real quick. So let's just take this first one. And let's determine the hypothesis and the conclusion. So as we're taking a look here, the if part is my hypothesis, the then part is my conclusion, and it actually works just like this. Okay, my hypothesis is everything that comes after the if, but before the then. So you stay up late would be my hypothesis here. I'll put an H here for hypothesis. And then you will be tired at school. Oh, let's not cross the words out. So you will be tired at school. All of that would be my conclusion. Okay, that's as far as we're going to go today. We're going to keep it really, really simple. All I want you to do is practice the IXL that has you identify hypothesis and identify the conclusion. So let's go ahead and take a look here. We'll actually work through a couple of the IXL problems. So, which is the hypothesis in this statement? If Kenji is driving, then he must have a license. My hypothesis, that's the first part. And so I'm just going to choose Kenji is driving as my hypothesis. Here they ask for the conclusion. What's the conclusion of the conditional statements? If Caleb gets sunburned easily, then he avoids the sun. And so we're going to choose Caleb avoids the sun. All right, so this is IXL I1. You should be able to get up to, I believe, 82. Let's take a look. Yes, you should be able to get up to, I'll just say 80 as a blank score. I think that's perfectly fine. If you get to 80, that's fine by me. So this is your first assignment. It should be a really easy day. I'd encourage you to start on the next assignment if you have some extra time today. But we're going to keep it real simple. Identify conditional statements, identify hypothesis, identify the conclusion.